done, Symphonic wins. It sounds like you have a few fans out there. Very nice. Next, we have our concert orchestra coming up, and as I had said before, we start off with our string ensembles. Symphonic Winds is our wind and brass ensemble, and concert orchestra is when we put everyone together for a full orchestral complement. So not only do we have our strings, but we have our wood, brass, and percussion all coming together and kind of our most advanced group of the youth symphony. So it's a great way to conclude our program. While we're taking just a couple minutes to get set up for our next ensemble, I'd love to talk to you a little bit about the music that the concert orchestra will play today. With a lot of our earlier ensembles, they'll often play pieces by, you heard a piece by Mozart today, another piece by Holtz, and what will happen is those pieces are then arranged by people that can make them a little more accessible for those younger groups. And when it comes to the concert orchestra, students are playing the pieces as written by the actual composers, so they're really far along. They sound just wonderful. We're doing something a little bit different with the concert orchestra today, and we're starting off with a piece called Old Wine and New Bottles, and what we're doing is we're starting with a wind and brass chamber group. So we'll start off with a smaller group, and they'll be conducted by Linda Ashworth. And Linda is one of our youth symphony coaches. She also plays with our adult orchestra, the oboe and the English horn, and this is her debut conducting. So we're really excited to have her working with our students today. And because we're featuring a smaller wind ensemble, then we'll also have the strings featured a little later on in the program, and they'll be playing the American String Quartet by Dvorak. And Dvorak you're probably familiar with already. He was a Czech composer. He wrote the New World Symphony, and this particular piece was actually written for a quartet. And Nancy Nagano, who conducts the concert orchestra, heard this piece the other day on the radio, arranged for the full string complement. So instead of a quartet of just those 4 string players, it's expanded, and it sounds just gorgeous. And Dvorak, like I said, he was a Czech composer. He came to America, and when on his visit, he composed both the New World Symphony and this American String Quartet. So it had a great influence from his visit here when he came to check out the United States and see what it was all about. And he said about this particular piece, "I should never have written these works just so if I hadn't seen America." 2 of the other pieces that you'll be hearing from the concert orchestra, one will probably be pretty familiar to you. It's the Crown Imperial March, and it's by a British composer, William Walton, and it's a fanfare, a really energetic, beautiful piece. And you may have heard it recently. It was played at the wedding of Prince William and Catherine Middleton a little while ago. It was their recessional piece, so that'll probably be familiar to you. They'll also be playing one of Beethoven's pieces, Symphony No. 3. And many of you are probably very familiar with Beethoven, heard many of his pieces. He's the composer who started to lose his hearing as he was composing throughout his career. And by the end of his career, he was completely deaf. And it's just amazing to think that there was a composer who could be writing such beautiful music that he couldn't hear. I guess he could hear it all in his head, but couldn't hear it when it was performed live. And this particular piece, Beethoven was writing in between 2 periods, and there's different musical periods that are kind of set up throughout history, and the classical was just finishing and the romantic period was just starting, so this piece kind of embodies some of both of the periods. And Beethoven's music is, I like to think it's pretty dramatic. It can be kind of stormy, and one of the ways that Beethoven does this is he takes some chords that are dissonant, that have some tension in them, and it helps to kind of build drama. So when you're listening to Symphony No. 3, listen for that. It's a great piece, and the orchestra is just doing a beautiful, beautiful job with it. I will also, since I have a little more time to talk to you out here, talk a little bit about the concert orchestra tour. We're so excited. We're going to Chicago in June, and taking, it looks like probably about 40 students that'll be traveling with us, and a few of our parents, and of course Nancy and some of our coaches. And the tour is shaping up to look like so much fun. As you may have heard, we're also starting off with a concert at Walt Disney Concert Hall in Los Angeles. We have friends at Youth Orchestras of Fresno, and they're a really fantastic youth orchestra. And they called us not too long ago, and they said, "We'd love to partner with you. We'd love to have the concert orchestra play at Walt Disney Concert Hall." And I said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, we can't do it. We're going on tour to Chicago." And Issy, who I couldn't live without, said, "Well, we have to drive to LA anyway. Let's do both." And so we're doing both, which is fantastic. Yeah. travel to Chicago and spend about 4 or 5 days there, and of course see everything that Chicago has to offer and partner with another youth orchestra when we're there. So we are so excited about the tour. As you saw, there are many ways to support the Youth Symphony students going on tour. This is something that students do support, so it's a ticket price that many of them pay for, although scholarships are available. And so the flowers that you may have purchased today, the Big Green Egg raffle tickets, all of those go to support the tour. And we appreciate any support that you send along to these folks. It's just a wonderful experience. We usually tour every 3 years with the youth orchestra, so we're really looking forward to this, and it's going to be here before we know it. And I think we're probably getting close, but while we have a little more time, why don't I also tell you about our free dress rehearsals? I know many of you have been to these many times before. Our next free dress rehearsal comes up in February, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to hear the adult orchestra play. As you probably noticed, and many families know this already, we have a complement of adult coaches that sit in and work with our students. They play with us in rehearsal and then join us for the concert day as well. And then at the free dress rehearsals, it's a great time for our students to come out. And for anyone, families are always welcome, babies too, to come out and check out the orchestra in action. And it's really the same performance that you see that evening. So in February, please come out and join us if you haven't already. And those happen each time we have a classics in the co-band performance. A couple other things that I will mention now that they're coming out, is we've added a piece to the program today. Nancy Nagano is famous for having a Christmas or holiday sing-along at the end of the holiday concert, so that will be added after the American String Quartet, and we'll take just a couple of minutes in between the Walton and the American String Quartet to talk about someone very special who's been honored with a really prestigious award. So more to come on that in a couple of minutes. And I think it looks like we're all set, so we will start off with our wind chamber ensemble conducted by Linda Ashworth. Let's give them a round of applause.